Joining us right now is Dr. Andrew Bostom, professor of medicine at Brown University, prolific author on issues involving militant Islam. And Andrew, always good to talk to you, sir.
Hi, Steve. Good to be with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. We played that. We'll get to Boko Haram and this hashtag kind of foreign policy if we have time. But obviously, what I want to start with is a story that is so horrific and so typical, unfortunately. A pregnant Sudanese Christian has been sentenced to death by hanging, no less, for, and many people don't know what apostasy is, but you explain it and talk about this case.
Well, Steve, I just learned there's a minimal update to this terrific story. The Sharia court apparently is allowing her to give birth. She's 8 to 9 months pregnant. She already has an 18 to 20-month-old toddler who's actually incarcerated with her, and that toddler is a U.S. citizen, by the way. But she's being permitted to come to term, deliver her baby, and then get 100 lashes and then be hanged. So I guess this is the moderate variation on the theme here. In brief, she is a graduate of the medical school in Khartoum. She's a Christian who has practiced Christianity since her father, who was a Muslim, abandoned the family when she was a child of 6 years of age. Her mother's an Ethiopian Orthodox Christian. She married a U.S. citizen Christian several years ago. Like I said, they have a 20-month-old toddler son. Now she's pregnant with her second child. Some disgruntled relative filed charges against her about a year ago, which led to her being convicted of not only apostasy, in other words, because the father was a Muslim, she's supposed to be a Muslim all her life, ignoring the fact that she was raised
right. And
by her mother.
Apostasy is if you renounce your religion or change your religion from Islam to something else.
Absolutely, but in this case, even that is factually challenged, shall we say, because she really was raised by the mother, who was a Christian. Now, in Islam, a Muslim man is allowed to marry a Christian woman, and then the children are supposed to be brought up Muslim. But what happens when he abandons the family? I mean, so it's just preposterous. But at any rate, she considers herself lifelong to be a Christian. These scurrilous charges were filed against her. She's been imprisoned basically since February with the 20-month-old toddler. And then last Sunday, she was convicted not only of apostasy, but of adultery, because after all, she's supposed to be a lifelong Muslim. She's not allowed to marry a Christian man. And then she was given 3 days to quote unquote recant, which she did not. She is a devout Christian. She told the Sharia judge that she's been a Christian all her life and that she has never apostatized. There were imams in the courtroom up to the last minute trying to get her to convert to Islam. And at that point, the judge announced her decision, announced the decision that was rendered upon her, which is that she was to be hanged for apostasy. But wait, before that, she was to be lashed 100 times.
I got to tell you, I cannot believe that we are living in 2014. I cannot believe, although I can believe, that this goes on and our media, for the most part, stays silent. If this were happening to a gay person somewhere, although maybe not, they don't come down on Iran for stoning gays to death, so I don't know what their deal is there either. But it's any member of the media who has the blessing and the privilege of a microphone and is in a position where they could do a story like this and they choose not to, or any editor in that same position, it should be, not only should be ashamed of themselves, they have to answer to God, I believe. Because, I mean, how do you ignore this? And our government? What has been the reaction of our government, our devout Christian president in the White House? Has he said anything about this?
It's absolutely preposterous. It gets worse, Steve. About a month or so ago, or maybe even longer, the distraught husband, again, a U.S. citizen, a Christian from the southern Sudan originally, but a naturalized U.S. citizen who his home is in New Hampshire. He petitioned the embassy in Khartoum, the U.S. embassy in Khartoum, to help. Initially, he was told that they were just disinterested in the case. He persisted, and then was told he brought the marriage certificate, the birth certificate of the toddler that's imprisoned with the mother, and was then told that he had to give blood for a DNA sample to prove paternity before they would consider acting. This is the callousness with which our embassy reacted. This part of the story has barely been reported. You will see a press release yesterday from the State Department that neglected to even mention that the toddler incarcerated with the mother in the women's prison outside of Khartoum is a U.S. citizen. I mean, it's absolutely preposterous.
It's preposterous. It really is. All right, so where are we right now? I mean, was what you said at the beginning, is that where we are right now, that update?
Yeah, that's the last update that I saw today from the reporting in the London Telegraph, was that, you know, there's I've seen earlier stories which suggested she might even be able to postpone the sentence until the newborn is weaned from, you know, so she could breastfeed until they complete the sentence. But it's outrageous. I've joined with my colleagues at the Center for Security Policy to demand that the State Department insist that
Andrew, stay where you are. We'll do one more.
Of politicians.
Andrew, we'll do one more segment. Andrew, stay tuned. Stay where you are. Andrew, we'll do one more segment. So stay where you are. We'll be back with Andrew Bostom. Don't go away.
Imagine if you had a